Let the record show that I, Jenna Arnold, being of sound mind, ample leadership experience, and the occasional amount of cheesiness, do enter this video blog as the story of my journey towards my personal leadership philosophy. So, here it is. Part 1. The shudder-inducing and ridiculously dramatic story of my roller coaster ride of roommates from freshman year. And before I begin, let me just say that there are two sides to every story, and this is my side, the right one. So, think back to freshman year. I was so different. I mean, we all were. Could you imagine? I was incredibly shy. I was coming to this huge university and I didn't know anybody. I got the same feeling coming to FSU as I did when I first moved to Georgia. Really alone and completely terrified. My roommates were randoms and I was excited to have the chance to get to know people so easily. My roommate's name was Rebecca and my suite mates' names were Karen and Jen. Jen was either out partying or doing homework in her room. She was really messy, but she didn't really bother anyone, so we never bothered her. I thought that Rebecca and I had so much fun together. I thought she was the best roommate ever. We'd lie in bed and just talk for hours. It took a really long time before I realized how wrong I was. Karen became best friends with both my roommate and my RA. Karen would throw my stuff around my room, leave passive-aggressive notes, rank my things, call me names. She'd even threaten to do some physical stuff. If I went to talk to the RA would tell Karen that we had talked and what we had talked about. Even with mediations, things got worse. I had a panic attack every single day. It got to the point where my friends wouldn't even let me go to my own room alone. And the entire week before spring break, I spent sleeping at my friends' rooms in Kellam and Smith. Finally, I made the decision to move out. Of course, Karen still found ways to harass me. I'd only moved 2 floors down. Christy and Mandy were my suite mates, and Sharice was my roommate. And they were the best roommates I could have ever asked for. We all moved in around the same time because we all had problems with our previous roommates. So we all actually respected each other, and we did what we could to help each other out. Of course, things were still crazy. Within the first week of us being there, Mandy and Sharice both found out that they were pregnant. So things got really interesting. But they were amazing, and I wouldn't have it any other way. That brings us to part 2. The happiest, most life-changing experience I've ever had with 40 of the greatest people I've ever met. My life changed so much last year. On the day of the 2011 homecoming parade, I was on my way to go join the rest of the marching chiefs when Lois Collins stopped me at the front desk on my way out. She was unofficially tapping me as a 2012 orientation leader. I couldn't believe what she told me. But when I got to the parade, Kim O'Hara and Addison Hughes were there waiting to tell me the news officially. The next spring and summer changed me so much. They helped me grow and gave me so many memories that I'm going to cherish forever. The experience taught me so much about myself, about others, about life in general. Everything that happened, good and bad, I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. I owe just about everything to this experience. Being an orientation leader gave me a new outlook on so much. It gave me some of the closest friends I've ever had. It gave me the best role models that anyone could possibly ever ask for. And thanks to them, I was led to the most fantastic brothers, which meant I got not 1, but 2 new families in the same semester. I got to listen to Curtis Zimmerman so many times, but I always took away something new, and I still follow some of the things that he said over the summer. I had so many great students, and I still talk to some of them today. I think that last spring and summer were the happiest moments of my life so far. And now, part 3. The not-so-exciting account of how I chose the higher education and student affairs career path. I came to Florida State wanting to double major with music education and psychology. Unfortunately, I didn't get into the music program, but it turned out to be for the best. I was debating between being a teacher or some kind of therapist for some time, but by sophomore year, I was set on becoming a marriage and family counselor. Now, if you know me, you know how blue I am, and you know that I'm a really empathetic crier. So being a marriage and family counselor is probably not the best idea. I started thinking about teaching again, but I heard some friends talking about going into student affairs in the fall. I didn't know what it was, so I asked, and it seemed kind of interesting, but I was still set on being some sort of therapist or a teacher. I applied to be an orientation team leader for 2013, and I didn't get it. But not getting team leader made me realize that something was missing from my life if I didn't get to do orientation or something like it. As I talked to people more about what student affairs actually was, I found myself liking it so much. For most of the fall, I just kept telling people I wanted to do marriage and family counseling, until eventually I decided that higher education and student affairs was the path for me. The head staff in my building overheard me talking about going into student affairs to my RA from last year, and she was absolutely incredible. My head staff is unfortunately graduating this semester, but she took me under her wing, and she's been helping me with things like finding schools, and she's just been a great person to talk to about everything. When I grow up, I want to be a student affairs professional just like her and just like Dr. Frame. So, part 4. An extremely very short version of how this class has helped with my leadership philosophy. In all honesty, I didn't know very much about the theory side of student affairs. I'd really only done stuff with practice, and I needed some sort of way to get my feet wet, and this class was a great way to do it. I really liked the information in the books and all the discussions we had in class. I even got to interview one of the coolest people ever and had her impact my philosophy as well. I learned so many theories that I never even knew existed. This class helped me find a mentor as well as my leadership philosophy. And, most importantly, I got to learn from and with 19 incredible people. Y'all are going to do absolutely incredible things, and I can't wait to watch you soar to infinity and beyond.